think anytime you get to this time of the year, guys are a little anxious to play someone in a different colored jersey other than red or white or what we've done in practice. So it's another chance for us to get out and see another opponent. And obviously, with being at the Guarding Against Cancer game, there's an extra layer of meaning to it too. And with the event up in Stevens Point back in late September, and then having obviously the team, but also the other supporters that have been a part of that and will be recognized Wednesday night on the court as well, is good. I think we've been able to make a good impact across the state in the places we've been, and Stevens Point was no different when we were there back in late September. So, but anyway, back to basketball. Looking forward to, it's a new coach there. Kent Dernbach went from lacrosse to Stevens Point, so a little bit of an idea of what we'll see, a team that's preparing for their season, which we've always felt playing these type of games are good, versus what we had 15 years ago or so with different kind of thrown together teams with exhibition games. So it's good for the state. I think it puts basketball in a spotlight at various levels for that night, and we're looking forward just to see how we respond and how we play together, and still learning and figuring out combinations on the floor, who's on the floor, how much. So it's another chance for us as a staff to evaluate. Questions?
Yeah, I was going to ask you, is that one of the biggest things for you in this exhibition game? Just because you've got a lot of guys back, but you're mixing in some new faces, to see how the chemistry works so you can have a better handle for that once the season starts.
Yeah, I think, as many situations as we create in practice, it's still not the same as a game. It's different when lights go on and people go in the stands and different colored jerseys. So, and I'm still trying to learn rotations of, I've got a lot of guys that are fighting for minutes, which is a good thing. So it's, for us, it's a chance to, again, evaluate and see how they perform, when the lights go on. So, and for our older guys too, to get into a rhythm. I thought it took us a couple weeks ago against Northern Iowa to hit a rhythm, and we did in the second half. But for the newcomers, I think it's any experience they get is a good experience.
Hey, Greg. I know that last week Carter and Max kind of told us after practice they've seen really their confidence increase kind of in their individual games as well as throughout the entire team. I know you mentioned those guys at media days. Just where have you seen kind of some of that within those two and kind of throughout the team as a collective?
Well, I think for Max's case, you saw it grow at the end of last year, and I think it took him a while to get his feet on the ground with the transfer. That's one maybe disadvantage of being eligible to play right away, as you get thrown in there right away, and there's not as much of an acclimation period. So for him, I think personally it was a self-affirmation that he belonged at this level, and I think you saw that more down the stretch as we went to the last few weeks of the season, and then I watched that carry over to the summer where there's a confidence because of how he's performed. I think for Gilmore, it's more of a strength and what he's done in the weight room, the weight he's added, and again, the experience he's gotten. So two are a little different paths to gaining the confidence that they have right now. Both have put in a lot of work. Both have changed their bodies in different ways. But I think for Max, it was a matter of how he performed last year, and Gilly for what he was able to do this summer physically.
I've seen you talk about how you think this team's more athletic than maybe you've been in the past. What is the difference? Because I know it's a lot of the same guys back. What is the difference in athleticism, do you think?
I think the depth helps us with that. I think it helps us from a fatigue minimalization standpoint. I'll be able to play more guys. I want to play more guys. What is that number? It's going to change probably through the first part of the season. And that's where, again, think using Wednesday night is another evaluation tool to figure out what our combinations are working the best. And we're bigger. Nolan Winter, putting him in the lineup makes us bigger. Marcus Ilver has had a good camp. He's really become much more consistent, so he's one that I've got to take a serious look at. John Blackwell has been a little up and down, as a freshman normally are, but he's the last 2-3 days he's on an upward trend. So it's a combination of what we've added. AJ obviously adds a piece on the wing, but I think overall depth, size, and the experience factor too. I think guys are better. Everybody that has returned is better than what they were a year ago.
There was a report last week that no one's in your top 7 or 8. I mean, what could that look like in a game? And I guess how do you expect to use him?
Yeah, I think, for him, just he's impressed me since he got here in the summer, and just I knew he was going to be a good player. I know he has to get stronger and heavier, but just how he's competed and he's much probably higher skilled than I would have given him credit for. I mean, for somebody that size and how he moves and how skilled he is, got terrific hands, he's got really good feet, gets the ball out of his hands quick on perimeter shots. So when you can play 2 7-footers together and how well they play off one another, I mean, they both pass exceptionally well. And just how he competes. He's got an edge to him that I like. He's got to get stronger, and he will. But he's been, he's going to have ups and downs. Like every freshman or young player goes through. But how he competes gives him a chance to make a dent and really help this team.
Greg, I'm guessing you won't be able to know the final answer till you get in games, especially late in games. But do you think this team has the potential to be a good free throw shooting team?
It better be. I mean, it's, you can practice those things, and we've done every drill imaginable. It's still about performing when the lights are on, the pressure's on. All of them are good enough free throw shooters to make it when the gym's empty. You got to do it when, the game's on the line and everybody's watching, the cameras are rolling. So from that standpoint, getting there is probably priority number one. We have to get there, I'd like to get there 25-plus times a game. We were there. We did that against Northern Iowa. We got there a lot. So that's, there's a lot of different ways to do that. It's not just throwing it inside. It's driving it. It's playing it more aggressive in transition, and being a better passing team. You can get higher percentage shots. So getting there is priority number one, and then we got to finish the deal.
Then a quick follow-up. Do you think this team is better equipped to get to the line more frequently than last year?
Yeah, I do. I think we're across the board, all the things I talked about, bigger, deeper, more experienced, all those things help that.
Along those same lines, scoring was a problem last year. I think
Right.
not exactly breaking news there. Is this too simple of a way to look at it, that if you can find 5 to 7 or 8 more points a game, it just makes life easier? The close losses become wins. The close wins become a little bit more comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
I guess that's part one. Is that true? And then B, do you feel like you've solved that to some degree?
Well, I don't know if we have the answer to the solving question. We're going to learn that over the next 5 months, right? But I do think we have some pieces that can score more frequently. And that's, you can go individually with what we've added, who's coming back. I think this group, the depth factor hopefully can help if we can find a steady number of where that's going to be because of the fatigue factor. Can we wear teams down? Can we avoid fatigue as we go through the season? And then also, what can you get some offense from your defense? I think this group has the ability to pressure a little bit more, and has some size and athleticism in places that maybe we didn't have it at consistently at times, where we can be better and convert some of that too. But you still have to be, you look at this league, you're going to have to be really good in the half court. But if you can get 5 to 8 more, and I've experimented with the pressure, as you've seen a little bit. We got to make sure we're not giving up 5 to 8 more. So there's a balance there. We have to have a positive rate of return when we do that. So I think this group we have more pieces that can find the basket, and I think the guys that are back are better at doing that than they were a year ago.
I'm just curious, did you get a chance to watch the exhibition games yesterday? I'm asking, no, you didn't, okay.
No, I didn't even watch the Packer game. Yeah. But I heard about it he was there giving me play-by-play.
Greg, you have a pretty good veteran on your team, and Tyler, I'm curious, with his decision to come back, how is he different than where he was at the end of last year? How has he grown in this offseason, knowing
Healthy.
this is going to be his last?
Healthy is a big thing for anybody when you know not only what it does for you physically but mentally, and I think we saw that when he came back last year, that not only physically he wasn't where he wanted to be or needed to be or should be, but mentally that weighed as much as what the physical injury did. So I think what I've watched this fall so far is healthy, confident, uber aggressive. I mean, and I think more mature in terms of, and that's not that he was immature in a bad way. Just the game has slowed down for him. I think he's not pressing. Having good teammates around him helps. The weight of the world's not on his shoulders. Maybe he felt that a little bit last year with what we had lost from the year before. But he's been, if he does what he's done the last 2 days, he's been terrific. I mean, he was fantastic on Friday. But, we're going to have to, he's going to need help. But like all of us, we have to stay healthy. I think that's a big thing for anybody. But his confidence is really high right now. He's healthy. He's explosive, doing a lot of really good things.
You mentioned Carter in the weight room this summer, but it seems like he's working a lot on his perimeter game. I mean, with Nolan in the mix, he obviously played a lot of minutes in relief of Steven, guarded Biggs last year. I mean, is that role or the minutes afforded to that role, is that less available to him this year where he'll probably have to make more of an impact on the wing?
Well, I think the one thing that helps Gilly is the experience factor. He's always had a high IQ, and understands what we want when we want it, both ends of the floor. And if in terms of footwork of post defense, now it's easier for 6'7" guys to play and be a pain in the butt around bigger post players than it is for 7-footers. It's hard to get around. They just not as accustomed. So he has a very good concept of how to be annoying in the post. And he's bigger. I think he's at 230 something right now. So I think that the combination of strength, experience, and just having been there and done that and understands, and he competes. As much as we've added and guys have gotten better, I remember making the comment to the staff this summer, it's like this fall, he's not going away quietly. I mean, he's going to compete, and you're going to have to earn minutes to get minutes above him. But he just has a good understanding of what the team needs and when they need, whether it's on the defensive end, how he's rebounded at times, his feel for the game is good. So all those things are welcome additives to our team. Ben?
Greg, you touched on Blackwell over the last couple of days. I know you mentioned in the red-white scrimmage, he had just game kind of sped up for him a little bit. I'm curious, since then, what has he done consistently well for you that gives him a chance to contribute in some way this year?
Yeah, I think what he can bring defensively on the perimeter at 6'4", and how physical and competitive. That's a word I use a lot with this young group, is how competitive they are. That's one thing that jumps out about John too. He's just fearless in that regard. I think he's starting to get more confidence offensively. He definitely had confidence going Saturday morning or Saturday afternoon, but it's a matter of being consistent. Now you get in the flow of a game. Does he continue to has the system become enough? Has he gained enough knowledge in the system where it becomes instincts and habits of chasing a screen, to forcing the ball, all the things that get yourself in trouble if you don't do it? When he's constantly reminded, like most young guys, he always does it. But when you get in the flow of the game, does that still resonate? And has it become a habit yet? We're going to find out. But I like how he competes. The battles he has with AJ and Tyler, wing on the wing position, are fun to watch. And I think he's not taking a back seat. He's definitely been aggressive on both ends of the floor. So now it's a matter of making these habits and instincts more concrete with him on the defensive end.